Be me. Young child around 2 or 4 years old. Swing on play sit on the backyard. Swing on it every nice day. Every time I reach the peak on the forward swing, someone tickles my feet. Grandma thinks it was her father, my great-grandfather. Be about a year ago. Own a dog, border collie. Live in the suburbs. In the basement, when you go down the stairs, there's a cutout in the wall. Forms sort of a ledge overlooking the basement. Whenever someone wants to call someone up from the basement, dinner, etc., they stand at the cutout and call you. Enough with context setting. Be me, sitting and playing Far Cry 4 on PS4. Dog laying at my feet, I'm on the couch. Dog's ears suddenly perk up. She gets up and moves to the middle of the room. Sits in the middle of the room perfectly calm and in direct view of the cutout. She keeps a lock on with someone moving down the stairs. There's no one there. My dog is watching ghosts walk down the basement stairs. This progressed even more until this happened 4 months ago. Dog has done the stairs look thing about 30 times now. One day it happens again, family knows about it, since I've recorded it. Family is spiritual. This time my dog does it, but when the spirit gets to the bottom of the stairs, she trots over to the bottom of the stairs and sits there looking up at someone. Her ears are down and her tail is wagging, like someone is petting her on the head. After this my mother and grandma both said it was my great-grandfather. Walk to school. Walk is fairly long, 30 minutes. I take a route through some quiet streets. I listen to a playlist of March music I made. A good chunk of it is German. Enough backstory. Walking to the school one morning last spring. Listening to Ein Heller und ein Beitzen. My earbuds are falling out, so I take them out of my ears to set them again. I've hit stop on my phone before I took out the buds, so no more audio is coming out. Hear humming behind me and what sounds like dress shoes smacking the pavement. Humming is to the tune of Ein Heller und ein Beitzen. What the hell? Turn around. No one's there, of course. Look around at the houses. Window drapes are drawn, lights off, etc. Okay, what's going on? Chalk it up to me being stupid. Put earbuds back in and play next song. Out of curiosity I pull my buds out again and stop the track. Humming behind me to the tune of Argoner Wildlied, and the dress shoes smacking sound. I say fuck it and book it to school. At this time I learn more about my great-grandfather. Turns out he was in the army of a very prominent European nation that had a dictator with a toothbrush mustache. He served on the Eastern Front in World War II. Decide not to tell anyone about my experiences with the dress shoes and humming, as they'd call me schizo. I eventually come to the realization that it's not dress shoes. They're marching boots. Fast forward to June of last year. Stayed out late to work on some creative project with friends. Walking home after dark. Forgot earbuds at home so I have no music. As I walk down the dead quiet streets I half expect something spoopy to jump out and kill me. Start whistling my favorite march to myself, Erica. After about 20 seconds of that someone else picks up the tune. Then 4 more take it up in rapid succession. Holy fuck, what the actual hell. There's 5 people behind me whistling to the song I'm whistling to. It's very faint, like the humming was, but you can definitely hear it. I pick up the pace. I didn't know what the hell was going on, I thought I was going insane. As soon as I start speed walking the smacking starts again. Actually sounds like 5 pairs of boots hitting the pavement in step with the tune. I've since stopped whistling and now whatever is behind me is doing it on its own. My vision is tunneling as I just want to get out of there. Frightened to all heck. I don't watch where I'm stepping and I trip on a chipped part of the sidewalk. Fall face first. Brace my fall with my hands but it still hurts when I hit the concrete. Marching and whistling stops. A man across the street steps out of his car in the driveway holding a cigarette. Hey bud, are you okay? I'm okay, I call after him. He nods and gets back in his car. He's probably forbidden to smoke in the house. I get up and palm my hands together. They got scraped as I went down. Look behind me. No one there, obviously. Adrenaline wore off with my fall. Begin to think about it. Run the checklist through my head. Have these things harmed me? No. Have I ever really been given reason to think they'd harm me? No. What are they? I couldn't answer the last one exactly. I knew they were spirits or ghosts. Powerful enough to create sounds. But not powerful enough to create a visible form, or maybe they are, and they choose not to. I push it out of my head and walk the rest of the way home, taking extra care not to whistle. Now we fast forward to the middle of July last year. At a family gathering. My family is German, in case you didn't get that from the first part of this story. Oma is head of the family. She's not like full-on head, setting rules for the whole 30-plus person family to follow. She's just the oldest, so everyone looks to her as the head, you know? Eventually one day I will probably have this head position as I am her direct grandson. For some reason, the majority of the family besides my mother, Oma, Tanta and Opa believe we are rednecks. This is because Oma's brothers moved out to small-town Ontario. Once I asked my mom about it. She said it was just a big joke that we all play. I could not for the life of me grasp it since I grew up in the city. I asked Oma about it. I don't know what the hell they were thinking, raising their children like that. The Anon family are not rednecks. She was referring to her brothers and their parenting. Anyways. Gathering is winding down. Getting late, everyone is outside having beers. Sitting in kitchen watching TV on a small Panasonic with Oma. Out of the blue I ask her. Did you or your dad ever hear marching out of nowhere? Awkward silence as she stares at me. Her brow furrows as if she's either trying to figure out my motive, or wondering if she has heard it. Finally she speaks. Why, have you heard it too? I am bewildered. Yes, I have, about 5 times now. When did it start? Right after March break here with you. During this March break, I found out that my great-grandfather was a soldier. Yes, sounds like it's right, starts right after you open your eyes. She turns off the TV. When my dad was still alive, he had friends over, from the war. This was in small-town 60s Canada, where you could get away with being a veteran of an enemy army. They would talk about hearing them. I ask who. She can't tell me, she doesn't remember the conversation. Mind you, this would have been over 50 years ago. They would go up to the bedroom, the 3 of them, and play music. What music? I asked. Obviously from the war. They came down after a few hours and talk about meeting again to listen to the squad. I am puzzled by this. She says that soon after she heard the music for the first time, she would hear footsteps around the house and faint humming. Oma told me her dad would say, "There they are again." She tells me that over the years, the original 3 that visited lost one. He died of complications with an earlier wound in his lung from the war. A week after the funeral there was 2 pairs of footsteps around the house and the humming was slightly louder. Oma's dad at the time, looks like they've not wasted any time getting reacquainted. Everyone in the house could hear these sounds. Great Opa, Great Oma, Oma, and her brothers all heard them. They would only start when Great Opa played his records or when the war friends were over. A few years after that, the last 2 war friends had passed. Oma had moved out by now and was living by herself, pregnant with my mom. When she visited her parents once, the marching started right when she entered the house, followed her wherever she went inside. Be it the kitchen or living room. Great Opa says, "You know, they are quite fond of your baby." "Who?" asked my Oma. "You know, the boys. Since Anon and Anon had passed they haven't left me alone. Must be their old loyalty still coming through." Oma says she remembered that incident in particular, very clearly, as there was no doubt there were spirits in the house. 4 pairs of boots hitting the carpet and hardwood throughout the place. 2 decades pass. Great Opa passes away. I am not even a glitter in my mom's eye, who is 20-something years old at this point. After the funeral, my Oma packs up all of his belongings and stores them away. Many things get taken by her brothers. Medals, records, letters, etc. All war artifacts that form such a complete picture of a man, when together, that it would be museum quality. By the way, I've actually seen these medals and vinyls myself. Great Opa was a very decorated man. Anyways, marching stops. Mom and her sister never hear it. In fact, no one hears it again. Oma stops her story here. I thought that it was just something that my dad had when he was alive. I thought that if the sounds got louder each time one of the men passed, my dad would join them and I would still be connected. I asked her if she can figure out who the men were. Well, now that I've retold the whole thing, it seems pretty obvious that the Boots were the men under his command. This was the first time I heard that my Great Opa had anyone under his command. Turns out his was a sergeant and led a small squad of 5 men including himself. One of those 4 under him died in the war. Needless to say, I am extremely spooked and weirded out by the whole thing. Thankfully Mom says it's time to go and we leave. Go home and it's late. Have forgotten about the story for the most part. Hit the hay and catch some sleep. I got a very weird dream that night. I'm in front of an old house in the middle of the woods. Looks to be a good 150 years old. It's big. White outer walls. Massive barn door attached to the side of it. Going through front door. It's big and it's old. House is outfitted with fireplace, stove, etc. Old, wood furniture. Going through kitchen. See closed door at the side of the kitchen. Can see light flickering under the door. Flames? I wake up. Think nothing of it. Throughout the day I feel this strange urge to go to Germany. Like, almost as if I don't go, I'll die. Very creeped out by this. The next night, the dream happens again. And then the next night. And the next. Until finally I'm freaked out that I've had the same dream 4 days in a row. Almost afraid to go to sleep. Finally will myself to go to sleep. Afraid I'll get the same dream for the 5th time. I move through the house just like the last 4 times. Until finally I reach the door on the side of the kitchen. Flames flickering under it. This time something different. The dream is not ending here. My head moves to look right next to the door. Metal plaque on the wall. I take a closer look at it. The plaque reads, "It's there." Dream ends. At this point I'm ready to say that I'm going nuts. My mom sees me distressed and tired out. What's wrong? I ask her if she has ever seen a house like the one in my dreams. Describe it in detail to her. I left out the plaque. Her only reply, "I don't know, ask your Oma. Call Oma. Ask her about the house." She stops me as soon as I say barn door. That was my parents' old house in Germany. It's in the Black Forest, it's still in the family. Say thanks and hang up. I am fucking off the wall. I'm having dreams of an old family house I've never seen or heard of before. Decide that the "it's their" plaque is important. Contact cousins that live in the house in Germany. Talk to them up to about 2 weeks ago, become friends. I asked them about the layout of the house back at the beginning of January. They tell me that next to the kitchen is the den. I ask if there's a fireplace in there. They say random question, but yes. Haven't responded to them since.